The last approach of dependency injection that I will be showing you in this video is service locator. Okay, so let's take a look what it is all about. Service locator is basically works based on a global approach like the one that I showed you in the beginning. Okay. However, here we are going to implement this approach, global approach, but in a control manner. Okay, so what I mean by a control manner here is that, by the way, service locator is actually a kind of a design pattern. Okay, when you look at samples of design pattern, so you can see service locator. Service locator is under behavioral design pattern, which is to I believe this one is under creational. Okay, it can be under creational design pattern because it serves for the how you get your object or your instance. Okay, so just now I mentioned about service locator is works on the global approach principle. However, we are going to implement the global approach in a control manner. Here, what I mean here is that one of what I mean about the in control manner is you unlike a regular global, you put your global everywhere. Okay, you may put your global variables everywhere in a file, one file A or file B, and then you just, because the variables are globals, you can access them also from anywhere. However, for service locator, we centralize our reference dependency into a central registry called a service locator. Okay, so we are going to do that in this approach. So let's take a look how this dependency injection approach works. So we will centralize the dependency in a central place called service locator. So we can have our dependencies there. Like here, I just give you an example. We want to have data service, authentication service, or other dependencies. Again, don't limit your understanding on dependencies to only what I show here, because here I think from the beginning of this video, dependency I'm talking here is more on services, but you also have dependencies on data or maybe on object or on class, so don't limit your understanding on it. But in this video, I tend to use services as dependencies. Okay, okay, so let's proceed. So we hold all the dependencies in one central place, which is in the service locator here. Okay, we put here. So that means later on we need to have a dedicated code for this part, okay, or maybe a dedicated file for this part. And then consumer code access the dependency via the service locator. So I keep repeating, use the same service locator, but basically in order, let's say, if you want to access to this, you need to go through service locator. Unlike global variables, if you want to access data service, you just simply access the variables in data service. Okay, but here you need to go through the service locator. Okay, so this is an example. Let's say here, let's say one part of your code, like in the plus button. If you want to access the data service, so then this is the way you do it. Okay? Service locator, we just mentioned, assuming we have this variable, later on we are going to declare a variable, service locator, and then just empty parenthesis, because this is a callable function. And then you need to identify, because the idea of this service locator is we ask the service locator to locate for us the service that we want, but we need to tell the service locator which service that you want from me. Okay? How you tell the service locator which service, because you have service locator can encapsulate or can hold several services, right? So the way service locator works is basically based on type. So you need to tell the service locator, if you want to use this service, then you provide the type. This is one example how this service locator is this service locator knows that you need this type. You are defining this variable of type data service. Okay, so that means when you call to service locator will infer the type of this data service. Okay, and then it will try to find the service based on the type. There is another way actually. This is we use from here. You can also use generic. Later on, I believe I will be showing you that later in the demo. Okay, let's say if you want to access authentication service, then you need to declare a service which is of type that particular class. Okay, so this is the syntax if you want to access dependencies via the service locator. You just specify what service you need by declaring the type of the service, and then let the service locator infers the type, and then it will find for the service, okay, based on the type. Okay, then we can start access as usual. Once you get the service, the dependencies, then you can consume the service, okay, use for whatever reason in the code. Okay, so something like this. This arrow is doing something like this. Okay? Give me data service. The way you ask the service locator, give me data service, is something like this. Okay, okay, the same goes to this. It will be doing the same syntax, and also because all three of them are accessing to the same service, so the same dependencies, which is data service. Okay, so as I mentioned just now, service locator is actually a design pattern. Okay, it's common. It's also a common design pattern used to organize your code. Okay, by centralizing the the dependencies into one central place, okay, which is we call service locator. So in Flutter, there are several packages that can be used for this approach. So in this video and also in our actual architecture, we will be using this package get it. Okay, this is served nicely. It serves very well for this design pattern. Okay, so we are going to, this is the party one, then that means you need to install it. So before we start do the demo, let's take a look some important notes regarding this package. Okay, this package provides us several ways of do the registration for dependency injection. Okay, there are actually at least 3 types. The first one is the factory. Okay, as you can see here, because we know that service locator, right? Service locator is holding all the dependencies. In order to tell the service locator hold that, you need to register the service that you want this service locator to handle. Okay, so this is what I mean by this one. There are different ways of the registration. You need to register. So for example, a factory registration. Okay, when you register the service as factory with factory registration, it means later on, whenever you consume, let's say whenever the consumer code use this syntax, use this command, the service locator, because this command is actually to ask the service locator, okay, service locator, please give me a data service. Okay, so if you register this data service as factory, so every time you call this, it always, which is the service locator, always give us a new instance. That means it's a regular object. The one that you are familiar when you instantiate an object from a class, you always get a new object, right? So this is actually factory, a factory registration. There is another one which is singleton. I believe you know this concept already because I have introduced this in our backend service last time. So singleton, okay, when you register a service as singleton, that means every time the consumer requests the service, something like this one, the service locator always give us the same instance. That means the instance is only created only once, okay, which is the first time you call to the instantiation process. Okay, a singleton. You learn, right? Singleton is a design pattern whereby a class create only a single object throughout the lifetime of the class. Okay, so in fact, in our example, okay, we are going to this approach. Okay, just now I was talking about dependency, right? You don't limit your understanding dependency only the service. Since I show here just services, dependency can also be data and object and so on. Okay, but most likely in our approach later, we most likely to implement services. So I prefer my service a hold only operation. A service doesn't need to hold any state. Okay? So because the operation it shouldn't have multiple copies, right? The operation is always the same. That's why I prefer for my services to be registered as singleton. So most likely we are going to use this registration, which is singleton. Okay. And then there is another variation of singleton provided by Get It, which is lazy singleton. Okay, lazy singleton is the same as the second one, which is a singleton. However, the only difference, the third one with the second one is the lazy singleton doesn't create an instant. I believe here I think it's not really correct here, except it's not about registration, but it is about instantiation. So when you call to lazy singleton, when you register a dependency as lazy singleton, the instance for that class is not created immediately. Okay? That one is happen to singleton. When once you register in the service locator, the instance has been created immediately, regardless there are consumers for the singleton. But for lazy singleton, no. The instance is only created for the first time. It is a request by the consumer. So I would recommend to use this one, then the last one, lazy singleton. Okay, why is that? Because because registration, normally you will be doing the registration of these services at the beginning of the application. So if you don't want to interrupt your startup loading of the application, so it's a good idea to have lazy singleton, because during startup, if you use singleton, besides starting up the app, it's your application also start creating objects for all the singleton class. So we don't want that. So what we want to do is we only want the object for the first time we call to the service. So we are going to I believe in this demo later I'm going to use this one, lazy singleton, rather than the first two. But I will I hope I have examples to show you some of the use cases of also for the factory. Okay, so okay, now we are going to I'm going to show you demo about the service locator dependency injection. So in this case, maybe I'm going to take some time to show you this instead of walking you through this part. I will be doing live coding for this one. So let's go ahead. So this is the one that we have just now. So I need to prepare the code base. So what I'm going to do here actually, I already have actually the branch for this. You can go to I believe I have here. Yeah, it's under service locator. Yeah, service locator. Okay, I already have service locator, but this is the finish or the complete version. So I think it's better for us to get started from the beginning. So I'm going to base my demo from the global approach, which is the one that I showed in the beginning. So in that case, I'm going to go to the master one, which is here, and then create a new branch from there, which is we are going to call it let me call it demo service locator demo, because I already have service locator here. So I need to create a new one. Why is that? Oh, okay, because I didn't. Okay, I need to undo the changes. So then create a new one. Okay, now I have created the base code. Okay, for the demo. This might be taking some time as well as usual. So I hope you can bear with me. Okay. Okay, first of all, because we are going to use gedit, okay, for the service locator part. Okay, so let me get rid of all of this. We are going to use gedit. Okay, now so you need to install gedit because gedit is third-party one. Okay, so I believe I already introduced a convenient extension in VS Code for installing, make it installation package much easier. Okay, you can use this. I already have this actually. You can, I believe I have, you install this pub assist. Do I have? Yeah, you install this package. Okay, pub spec assist. So that every time you want to install package, you don't have to go to pub spec YAML manually. Okay, it's right here. What you want to do, because I already installed in my machine here. So what I can do, I just go to Ctrl+Shift+P and then try to here click on pub spec assist, and then you type what package you want to install, and then you proceed. Because I already installed in this, I don't have to do it again. So you don't have to go manually. You don't have to touch the pub spec YAML manually as you might be doing up to this point. Okay, so it's a good idea to install this extension pub spec. Okay. Okay, I think there is another extension you might be interested in, which is in this case is .import. Okay, .import, which is, it's not really related actually for this one, but let me check. Yeah, .import. Okay, so this, what this extension does is basically it help us to create a relative path. So for example, okay, something like, I don't have it here, maybe here. Okay, something like this. Otherwise, normally when you start, because when you import, right, when you import if you have broken dependency here, normally the extension will suggest you to import, right, and then it gives you this bulb. And then if you don't have that import, normally you have something like this, the absolute path. I don't like this one, something like this. I prefer to use relative, something like this one. So when you use the import, I believe it gives you two options. One is the original one. The second one is the relative one. Okay, so so it's up to you which one you want to choose. So normally I prefer to choose this relative. Why is that? Because later on, if I want to copy this and then I want to rename this, if I use the absolute one, so the name, like just last time, if I copy this from exercise 3, then exercise 3 is still here, but now the file is not exercise 3, but this file is architecture dependency. So it's a good idea to have relative reference. Okay, it's just a side note. Okay, let's go back to our service locator. Okay, for the service locator, let's take a look back. Okay, we need to centralize. Okay, the idea of service locator, you need central registry. Okay, so I'm going to declare create a new file for this, and then instead of calling it service locator, it's up to you what the name you want to refer to this, but as long as you know the purpose, you can call it like service locator or dot or services dot or not. Service, I don't think so service is a good name because you are going to use services for other purpose. Maybe you can call it service container dot injection container dot or dependency injection dot. But in my case, I want to call this as dependencies. Okay, so I'm going to create here under leave, same level as main. Okay, I'm going to create here, I'm going to call it dependencies dot. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, actually I want to register all my dependencies. Okay, all my dependencies, but for now we only have this data service, right? We don't have the authentication. We don't use authentication or other services here in this application. Okay, how to do that? Okay, first of all, we need to include the package, which is we need to import okay, I think it's better. Okay, package dot edit dot edit product. Okay, this is the package we are going to use here. Is that package? What is that? Oh, do I have this? Let me check. Oh yeah, I believe I don't have this, right? So I need to install it first. So which is this one. I mistakenly, I thought I was in the finished product, but this is actually we start from scratch from the global approach, right? So I use my abstract assist to get the abstract. Okay, so it will take some time to download from the package, and then while waiting for pub-get to complete, then we can continue here. Okay, so here later on we have the package, and then we can access the class. Okay, this is, and then okay, then okay, I can start now. I can start register all my services here. Okay, so in order to do that, I will create just a function. You can call this function whatever you like here. I prefer, you can use setup, dependency, or initialize. Okay, I just use init here. So this is the common convention steps. When you use a get it, okay, you need to have centralized location to register everything. So here you can start register all dependencies you are using in your application. So for example, maybe you can start off with, okay, data service. Let's say we are working on Firebase, right? So Firebase, maybe you want to register your Firestore dependencies, okay, and then you have authentication dependencies, and then you also need to register your cloud storage. Okay, maybe if you also have use something like local resource, maybe the camera dependency, okay, local resource, okay, like, so for example, share preference. Okay, this is the one that used in Android for whatever. Okay, so you can prepare all, you can register all the dependency that you are using in your app. Okay, so just to give you an idea. Okay, but for our example, for our application, okay, we just need to have, here is actually only for the data service. Okay. So I'm going to register my data service here. So how do I register that? Okay, so I can call it get it, which is get it is from this get it, and then we use the instance, and then now just now I was mentioning regarding the different type of registration, right? So we have a register factory, we have registers lazy singleton, and so on and so forth. As I said, we have 3 types. So in this case, because I want to register this service, okay, I want to register data service, and then the service, in my case, normally I will be using lazy singleton, okay, a singleton, and then particularly lazy singleton. Okay, so I will register this. Okay, what I want to register. Okay, I want to register which is to do. Okay, I already have this. What we have here, to do data service. Let's say we use the REST, to do data service REST. Okay, then of course I need to import. Okay, this is just I was mentioning regarding that import. If you have that import, you're supposed to be getting 2 options, the local one and also the absolute one. Okay, the relative one and absolute one. I'm going to use the relative. Okay, okay, now the screen is not too large. Okay, to do rest, no, sorry, I believe we are importing different class. Okay, let me double check. Yeah, yeah, this is supposed to this one. Okay, done. To do data, why is still okay? Because yeah, we need to do something like that. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Do we need to have return? The return type to do isn't a future. Okay, let me take a look what is going on here. Okay, my bad. It's not a sync because it each method comes with 2 versions. One is for synchronous and the other one is for asynchronous. Use the synchronous version, this one. So that's why just now I was given an error. Okay, so this is how you register. Okay, this is one registration for this particular particular service. Okay, I can also register if you want to register for other service, then you can keep continuing. Okay, like register whatever you want to register here. Okay, whatever object or class you want to register. Okay, so by convention, normally we don't use this name. We want to use a shorthand. So in order to do that, I'm going to declare I just want to replace this one, because later on, actually inside the consumer code, you also need to call this, because this one is to register, but to allow your consumer code to get the service or to get the dependency, the consumer code will be calling to this get instance. So it seems as you can see here, you have 2 words. So I will rename this just to provide a shorthand for it. So get it, and then I'm going to call it like, you can call whatever here. Maybe you want to call it like Locator or DI, but here I use the name just, I'm going to call it like service and get it dot instance. Okay, so this one I can simply replace with service because we have make it as a shorthand here. Oh, it's not I, but it is low I. Okay, So we're done with this registration. This is only to register, right? Okay, now how to consume this? Okay, when we look back here, the consumer could access the dependency via the service locator. Okay, we don't access directly to the dependency, but we ask the service locator. Okay, because by doing that, we have some extra features whereby you have the option for singleton or factory approach, right? So it depends on the way you registered your dependency. It will tell the service locator how to create, or how it gives you the instance. Okay, if it is registered as factory, then it will create you a new instance every time you call to the service locator. Okay, now this is done. The next part is that because this is only we only define, right? In fact, we don't actually start doing the registration because we don't execute the init. To some extent, we need to execute this init. So where should we put this init? Okay, so because here the purpose of this part is only to execute. The purpose of this init is only for doing the registration. Okay, where should we put this? So we are going to execute this when the program start running. So in order to do that, we are going to go to the main, right? In the main. So now, because this is arrow function, I need to add more lines here. So I need to split this into compound statement. Okay. Then here actually I want to use init. Okay. So where does this init come from? We cannot get the suggestion here. Why is that? Because we need to import. I'm going to import. Do we have dependencies for that? Then to make it more readable. Okay, because I don't know which init is this. Okay, so we are going to do that. We are going to alias this. Okay, let's say I call this like di, whatever. You can do any alias. So I'm going to call di, which stands for dependency injection. So di.init. So this is actually the part that do the actual registration. Okay, so this is a very important step. If you forgot to do this, your application still can run. However, when the consumer could start accessing the dependencies, you got error. Why? Because your service locator doesn't know the dependencies because you didn't register yet. It's not because you didn't write the code. The code has been written, but you didn't run the init. Okay. Okay, what else? Okay, now let us go to the consumer code. Okay, let's go to the consumer code. The consumer code is inside the screen, the to-do list screen. Okay. What we are going to do here. So this is the original one, right? The original code, which is using the global one. So let me delete this, okay? Because just now it's the global one. So now here, we need this screen need to do data service, right? We need data service here. So we are going to use this one. Consumer code access the dependencies via the service locator. We are going to write this code. Okay. We are asking the service locator to give us the data service. Okay. So just now I remove this. Okay, because this one is a global approach, right? This is the problem. So now let's remove this one. Now we no longer have this to do the data service. So that's why here we need to this is how you tell. The key point here, actually, we want to ask the service locator, give me this data service. Okay, you simply want to write something like this. Okay, which is this service is the name that you declare here. Okay. Okay. By the way, this is actually also besides as an object, it's also a callable function. Okay. Let us go back here. Okay. Now. Okay. So now I'm going to use this variable. Okay, we are going to do something like this. Give me service. But what service? We don't know what the service. The way you want to tell this is by specifying the service for this guy. So this is actually the service for to do. This is the class for to do data service. Okay, what is the service we registered just now? Yeah, this one. Okay, why we need to do that? Because you don't see here, because in this example I just show you only one dependency. In actuality, in actual application, you will be having several dependencies here. You need to register several. So in order to tell the service locator which service you are requesting is by specifying the class. Okay, this one. Okay, and then again we get error here. Why? Because we need to import first dependency, which is for the service, and also this class coming from to do data service rest. Okay. Now, but still we have errors somewhere else because we didn't change it. So the same goes to this one. Okay, we need dependency for this. So again, for this case, we just replicate the code. Okay, what is it? What is it? Okay, to do list, to do data service. Okay, let me check why is this happening. Okay, just now I was getting a really strange errors. Then I needed to refresh my VS Code. Okay, I'm not really sure the exact cause of the problem, but it is most likely I forgot to remove this line. Okay, and I also use the same name here to do data service. So if you get the same errors as mine, then what you need to do, you just remove this line, okay? Because this one is actually the implementation from the previous method. So I remove this, and then to be safe, I simply change all the variable to do data service here into, I replace all this into data service. Okay, I call it data service. And then okay, now let's go back here. Let's proceed. So this consumer, this is we are going to do for this getting the list of to-dos. So we need the dependency, which is the service. We get the service via the service locator. Okay, I'm using this name service, but service here is actually just this is my service locator, which is where is it? I need to go to my file. Okay, I need to go to my file. Where is it? Why I cannot get my, okay, I don't see my, okay, let me Control P, open dependency. Okay, this one. Okay, I'm using this name service. Okay, I'll use my service locator. Then here, okay, so this is actually how you ask the service locator to get the service. So you simply call service here, and then this service needs to know what service that you want it to locate for you. Okay, the way you want to tell the service locator is by telling it the class type. Okay, so in this case, we don't tell the class type explicitly, okay, but it will infer implicitly by looking at the type of this variable. Okay, the type of this data service. Since we are declaring as to do data service, that means this service will go to the service locator just now. Okay, yeah, but in our case it doesn't matter, because we only have, in our case, we only have one dependency registered here, which is to do data service. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, now the rest of the code will still get errors here because we don't fix that yet. Okay, by the way, because this one we are not going to change it, right? So it's common practice to make it as a final. So now we are going to do the same for the rest of this one. As you can see here, this is also requires the dependency data service. Where is the data service? We get from here. Okay, data service rest. I forgot this one is supposed to be to do data service rest. Okay, and also this one data service. Okay. Okay, again, this is, I think this one is for the plus button, and also, okay, it also needs this data service, so we grab from here. Okay, it's supposed to be working. Okay, there is no error, no, yeah, and then, oh, I have class data service. I need to delete. Let me check what. Okay, I need to delete. Then let's try to hot restart. Okay, so it works fine here. Okay, so that means up to this point, I have shown you how to register your dependencies in Service Locator, and then here we consume or we access the dependencies via the Service Locator by simply calling to service. Okay, during this time, we need to tell this Service Locator what service that actually we want to access. The way we do it is basically by providing the type of the service. And here, what we did here is basically by using the implicit. Okay, the service locator will infer during based on the type of this data. So we can also actually provide explicit. So I can rewrite this. Okay, I will show you another syntax. Okay, this one. Okay, let's say another way, data service. So it doesn't work. Okay, because service actually it accepts generic. Okay, you can tell here something like this. This is the same. This is the same the one that. Okay, let me copy this. Revert. Okay, so this is the first approach I showed you just now, and this is the second one. This is the same. So we literally mentioned here. Okay, the service locator get me an object which of type to do data service rest. Okay, you can do it in this way. You can do it in another way, in this way as well. Okay, either one. Okay, now so what else I need to show you here? Okay, so